I want to make sure that there's like some expectations set
Okay.
in general, you know?
Is it okay if I go live for this or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Because I just did, and I would have turned it off if you said no.
Well, hello, worlds.
Welcome to Session 0.
Welcome everyone to our preparatory session 0 of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. With me right now are 4 of my 5 Sylvan Seekers. Say hi, Sylvan Seekers.
Hi, Sylvan Seekers.
Howdy.
Oh my god.
Very cute.
Hi.
Shannon just walked in the front door. What marvelous timing she has.
Woohoo!
I'm giving the players a quick overview of me as a DM before you hop in, Shannon, so you have a couple of minutes to get set up and all.
Oh god, I look like garbage. On live, too.
You're fine.
You'll always be hot to me, Wyatt.
Well, at least
So-
someone thinks I am.
So I am here currently to give y'all an idea of what to expect from me as a dungeon master, as a game master, as a storyteller.
As a daddy.
Not that. Not that one. I am for all the good things about me, I am not Anthony Birch, unfortunately. Would that I were.
Yes.
But in general, I want y'all to know that I am a DM who is focused on stories. I am interested with all of you in telling a wonderful tale from start to finish, one that brings your character arcs to a satisfying conclusion and leaves you with a sense of having been a part of a living world. To that end, I enjoy the rules. I am not married to them. I have a great deal of fun bending them, but I want y'all to know that breaking the rules is not going to be something that I want you to expect. If it serves the scene and assists in telling the story, then I will let you know what parts of the rules you are allowed to ignore for that instance. But in general, I ask that all of you assume, unless told otherwise, that you are only allowed to do the things that are on your character sheets. Additionally, I am happy to assist with character sheets and like reminding you of what abilities you have and such, but for the most part, you are expected to know those things yourself. I don't expect a whole lot of issue with that with y'all, because y'all are all more or less experienced players, and so is Shannon. But if y'all are in a pickle and can't figure out what tools to use, don't expect me to be swooping in with a reminder about some class feature you forgot. So make sure you know those sheets. One more thing, and I'm going to reiterate this when Shannon gets in as well, is that I want to make sure that y'all trust me as a storyteller, that I am not going to undermine your characters, I am not going to denigrate them, and I am not going to humiliate them or you for the sake of the story, because you are the story, functionally. So I want y'all to trust that failure is something that will advance things, that mistakes will improve the overall story, and that at the end of the day, I am here to see y'all win as much as you are here to see y'all win. Shannon's being mean, apparently. She's claiming that I lie, but she's wrong.
You're not allowed to argue with the DM.
Oh, that's actually one more thing. I am not a fan of protracted arguments with the DM, but I am always happy to hear a case that any of y'all want to make against one of my rulings. Briefly. Once I put my foot down, that's the end. But if I say something that y'all disagree with, or if I speak erroneously about your character, or a trait, or a feature that y'all have, please feel free to jump in and correct me. But I think that's kind of the majority of the prologue that I wanted to go over. So that y'all have an idea of that I'm here to be the world in support of you and not the world as an enemy to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're here to have a good time. All of us are. And I want to make sure that we all have that good time. Before we go any further, do y'all have any questions for me in regards to my DMing style or any of the specifics that I just went over or other such?
What if we're a masochist and we came here for a bad time?
Then you need to find a new game.
Yeah. What if we want you to step on us?
Then I can run Tomb of Horrors at a later point in time.
Hell
He
yeah.
already said this is not a BDSM podcast. He already said.
In fairness, I never did say that.
To be fair, not all of us agreed to those rules.
It is not a BDSM podcast, but I had not said that previously.
Yeah, but it was a twist on the Anthony Birch thing.
No,
so-
I know it was. I just wanted to get that joke in there. I don't think that anything that I'm gonna do is drastically different from anything y'all have seen in the past.
Yeah.
But in case anything stands out as weird or odd, then feel free to let me know, and we will work it out together.
We'll just blame it on
Is
Kyle.
your DMing style anywhere close to either Azra or Sendu as a character, if you had to pick one?
I would say no, neither, really. Well, I guess if we're like on a sliding scale of Azra to Sendu, then it's closer to Sendu, who's like very supportive
Yeah.
of the people around him and very careful not to step on toes.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Azra's cold pragmatism. But consider me your ally until I am playing a character who states otherwise. I see that Shannon has jumped into Discord, but is deafened or just muted?
I don't think I'm muted.
No, I
Just
think
Yeah,
muted, so she said
Dalton's
it.
still
Dalton's the only
muted,
one that's
but
muted.
that's very Daltonish of him.
He explained that to me, so that's not an issue. I'm just glad that he's here and listening.
Yeah.
Is it his mom's birthday again?
No.
Alton has had a very bad last 3 hours.
Aw, my poor
I
baby.
feel that.
And we are here to support Dalton.
My last two were in Atlanta traffic.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to being muted and finishing the sheet.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're fine, buddy.
Our food's almost here. Woohoo!
Hell yeah.
It wouldn't be D&D without us eating food.
I say, glancing over at my closed container of food. You may run into that more than once as me trying to eat during a session and voraciously scarfing down mouthfuls while I think y'all are talking, and then inevitably having to talk in the middle of a mouthful. So
You should just build it into the scene. Be like we're wandering through the desert, and all of a sudden a character is just eating in the scene.
all of my NPCs are eating right now.
Oh my god.
Don't question it, they just are.
Just like Brennan, like housing pretzels when people aren't looking.
Brennan's eating! Brennan's eating!
Bubbies! Forever distracted by dog.
It's fine. Wyatt's dog is very distracting for everyone.
Oh, for a second
think
there I was
especially
like, is
Wyatt.
it my dog?
We can't see you.
Well, but my dog is oftentimes by Joe.
Oh.
You've probably already seen my dog in other campaigns.
It's possible.
Okay, let's see. I haven't taken this webcam out in a hot second, so we'll see if it's long enough.
Is that dog like, hit me? Oh no, he has a ball.
He just demands attention.
Does this work?
I've basically hit the end of my prologue, so I'm going to wait for Shannon to get set up and listening before I go any further, because at this point it starts to become like a more collaborative thing and discussing the tone of the story and making sure everyone's on the same page and that kind of thing.
I don't know how this is going to work with the amount of light that's in my room right now.
So I was trying to think about what I wanted to use for my character's picture. I haven't
Okay.
picked
Oh,
out
it's a kitty.
I'm not sold on it, so I'm just like going through Google Images, and inspiration struck me, and I'm like, oh, what was the rabbit's name from TMNT? And like, so,
Splinter?
no, the rabbit, not the rat.
There was a rabbit in TMNT?
Yeah,
I
his
don't
name
remember.
was Asami Yojimbo or something like that. What was his name?
Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah.
Literally rabbit.
He was
His
not
name.
from TMNT. He was actually the main character of his own comic series, but he did have a crossover with TMNT.
Oh, I only know him from the cartoon because he's in the TMNT cartoons.
He has his own comic.
He's also a fucking rabbit named Rabbit, and I'm upset about that.
Which part of his name is Rabbit? Yojimbo or Usagi?
Usagi. Yojimbo refers to a samurai.
I see. So I don't think he'd work, well, one, because he's a famous character, and I don't typically like these famous characters. But then, two, he does use a sword, and I don't have a sword, so...
He's very much a samurai. That's kind of his
Yeah,
own
exactly. But he has, like, the aesthetic of one. What's up?
Rurouni Kenshin, but a furry.
Oh, God.
Mine.
You have all the food? Okay, one sec.
I do. We got chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
Apple.
I can go for some wings, but I'm broke.
Oh no.
Fries. Those feel like empty nothingness.
6 more days.
Those are my sides of ranch and sauce.
What'd you do with it?
I also got one. Some of my sauces are also the same as your sauces, so there might be duplicates. But
Oh, that's so dry. How dare they?
Dragon egg? Saying yes.
You didn't get extra sauces,
I
right?
did, yeah.
Dragon egg?
Oh,
Did I
are
say?
you sure?
Yeah, positive. I got 4 sauces. In fact,
I got.
you got 4 as well. You got 4 ranches. I didn't get any ranches.
Oh.
I should have 4 of like these kind. Like they should be brownish red.
Dragon egg
Search
ones.
all our containers.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
no, wait, they're over here.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just like,
And there's 1. So we just need to figure out which reddish sauce is yours, and then which one.
Lots of them. Give.
These look like my sauces.
Well, yeah,
I
like
only
I
have
said, I got
one.
the same as you. So
Mango?
yeah, I got 1 mango, 1 teriyaki, 1 blah blah blah. I got 4 different ones.
So,
So I
Mango,
think
but-
any that are the same.
I don't know what mango. Mango.
I don't know.
Whereas you should have
here's
2 that are the same. Well, no, because here's this one too. So I think one of these is yours.
what?
Yeah, that's a ranch. You have 4 ranch, and you should have 2 of these. So this does not look like that.
There's
You
so
should
many
have 2
logistics
that's
involved
red
in
and
chicken
orange.
wings.
You just need another orange or another red. That's all I'm saying.
This one?
Well, let's look.
I didn't. I had asked for extra mango sauce. but
Oh, only is what I'm saying. So you need 2 mangoes.
No.
Right? So
It should be 1 mango.
only 1 mango. Oh, okay. Then I will take everything else.
I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, let me know if that's not mango. I'll come back.
Well, what did you order?
What?
You said you ordered a mango, right?
I ordered one of every kind. One of every kind sauce-wise on the side. Not every. Sorry. I ordered 4
Okay.
fruit. Sorry. I ordered
I
4
can't
fruit.
eat certain things, so it's better if you taste them.
Okay, sure. I ordered 4 fruit sauces.
Here.
That's what I'm saying.
Taste them, bring me mine back. Unless you want me to vomit,
You
which
need
I
me to-
don't.
Oh, I thought you could have all the sauces, just not the. Okay, fine.
No. Sorry, guys.
Y'all are totally fine. The distribution of dinner is an important aspect of
Bring my sauce,
cohabitation.
my stuff is
Important
dry.
ritual.
Aw,
See,
come
this is
on.
why I can't be trusted. Can't trust anything.
I don't think there's this much logistics involved in the 40K universe.
Space Marines got nothing on chicken wings.
I mean, Space Marines have, like, fucking space food. They got that fucking freeze-dried bullshit stuff.
Oh, we're talking about the
So.
Space Marines, so that's gene seed shit. They just eat fear. That's all.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot less logistics involved in that.
Alrighty.
I think so.
Sorry about that, everybody.
I think this is a mango.
Okay, then what is this one? Is it also a mango?
No, I think this is more reddish. You wanted the orange one.
Do something, punk. Do something.
Okay, I did it with point buy. But you did say you would be open to rolling.
Yes, so I'm going to discuss that in just a minute. But
Okay.
feel free to keep your point buy stats for the time being.
Yeah, I
because-
have it set up just to have it ready because it's just
Perfect.
changing numbers. It doesn't really do much, at least in the Roll20 one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now to figure out the spells, which are
Oh,
a lot
you
more
have- you
annoying.
have magics?
Yes.
Interesting.
Music.
All right, are we all set up? Shannon, are you here with us?
Yeah.
Should I be in like Roll20 or anything? Or...
Shannon, you are muted.
I'm
No, she's
not.
not.
You're muted.
Shannon,
Here.
for some reason, I had you muted.
Because we used to be gaming in the same fucking room.
You're right. We did used to do that.
Yeah.
Now we have our own bedroom/office area.
Gotcha. Okay, that was it. Okay, thank you for telling me that.
I just did the same thing
She's
for
like,
you,
fuck
so don't feel bad.
off.
Oh, fantastic. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength here. So Shannon, so you are aware we are streaming this session 0, and we could only stream all of the sessions that Jess and Kyle are in. So
Oh yeah, I
if you
did
are...
see that on the phone thing. Well, I didn't actually read the whole thing, but yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Because if you were against it, I would not stream, but I like to. I like to be able to look back.
So anyway, let me go ahead and introduce one of my best friends and current roommate, Shannon Kennist, to this whole D&D group.
Woohoo!
I don't know what order they're in for you, so it's kind of hard to say which one is which. But the only other woman is Jess.
Hello.
Dark hair and red shirt is Kyle.
Okay.
Brown hair and green shirt is Wyatt. And no picture available is Dalton.
I mean, he has like a Pokemon trainer or something there.
That's just Dalton in general.
Dalton is the Pokemon trainer is Dalton.
Oh, okay.
She actually got it. She actually got it right. That's actually what it's like
That's great.
based on.
Figured.
Incredible.
I know my Pokemon.
So now, welcome in earnest to our first 0th preparatory session for Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Ooh.
At this point, I've gone over generally who I am as a DM. Shannon, you're already well aware of that because you played with me before. So I would like to go into now what are a few of my, as a DM's, expectations of y'all as players. In order to help me tell this story and to help everyone get along as a table. In the first thing that I want to say is that I expect y'all to play along. Like, this is like the fundamental rule of improv, right? Is yes and. So like when a setting is introduced or a character is brought up, I don't want y'all to just dismiss it out of hand. Like, it's really important for y'all as players to be invested in the world.
Mhm.
I can't make you make bonds with the people and places that I create. But the more y'all do that, the more you choose to become invested in the world, the better the game is going to be for everyone.
And how do you feel about us adopting everything we see?
I think that will actually be a lovely habit to have in this game in particular.
I mean, he plays Binding of Isaac, so that's basically his playstyle.
Wow. There's a lot
Called
of
it out.
there's a lot of adoptables in Wild Beyond the Witchlight, let me tell you that right now. So that's honestly lovely. Be invested in the people you meet. Be invested in their stories and their lives. Feel free to create bonds. Another big thing that I want to impress upon all of y'all is none of you are the main character. In that same vein, none of you are side characters. You are an ensemble cast, and this story revolves around all 5 of you. None of you are sidekicks. None of you are love interests. If anyone's going to be a love interest, it's going to be people that I play. So remember, you're not always going to be the focus, but all of you should get to have the focus. And I do expect y'all to support each other in that. Like, one of my favorite things is when players ask to have conversations with each other outside of major story beats to help advance each other's internal arcs. So please, all the time, feel free to do that. It's my favorite thing. I love to be able to just take my hand off the wheel and let the players drive for a little while.
So you.
Sorry?
So you can eat.
I mean, yeah, so I can eat. Take a drink really quickly. Make sure that I'm staying hydrated. It's important.
DMs are human too, everybody.
DMs are human too, though we try our best to hide it. The next point is that I would like all of you, for your characters, to have a general idea in mind, clearly of where they start, and more or less where you would like them to finish, so that you, as a player, have something to build towards. Remember that the end is flexible, and everything in between is a mystery. But have an idea of what kind of person you would like your character to be at the end of it, so that the character can have a conversation with you and maybe change that over the course of the adventure. Or maybe they'll agree with you, and you'll get there together. Another thing is that this story has a fair bit of beats that go into some, I don't want to say edgier, but darker areas. There's a lot of ways to take the things that happen in a very grim, dark tone. So what I would like from all of you is not to focus too hard on the drama, because the drama's going to come on its own. It's going to be here. I would like y'all to focus more on your interpersonal arcs and to focus more on how you make the world around you better, if that makes sense. Finally, like I said, I just want to reiterate, play along. Because, things are going to happen here that are wild. You're going to be in the wilderness of the Fae, and things are going to be weird. And the better you play along with it, the better time you're going to have.
Boil
Okay. Are they wild beyond the Witchlight?
My similar joke was going to be, you're going to go through the wild, you're going to go through the Witchlight, you're going to go through the beyond.
That would have been good. I'm mad I didn't do that. That's pretty much what I have for, the basic foundational outline. I've gone over kind of where the story starts with y'all. Each of the 5 of you have, at some point in your youth, visited the Witchlight Carnival. Very importantly, you visited the Witchlight Carnival by sneaking into it. You did not buy a ticket. You nasty little scamps snuck in like the rapscallions that you are.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And while you were there sneaking in, something was stolen from you. Something important to you. It can be something physical but cherished, like a doll or a blanket or something of that nature, or it can be something much more ephemeral, like your sense of fashion, like your sense of direction. Perhaps it was a memory that you know is missing. But that something has been, at the very least, an inconvenience to you since it was lost. It is a hole in you that you feel. Switching to voice activity so I don't have to hold down the push talk button the whole time. But since then, you have been striving to find that, to fill that void again. With that in mind, as you go over your character concepts, I'm going to ask from the players now, who here has a clear idea of a character they're playing And do you want to do a quick bit of description so that the rest of the party has an idea of who they're playing with? Oh, we raised some hands. I see Kyle's hand and Wyatt's hand both raised. Jess is eating. So I saw Kyle first, so let's go with Kyle.
How much do I tell?
So let's start with let's have your name, your species, and tell me something that stands out about their appearance.
Okay. I don't have the stands out about the appearance part. I'll think on that. So I am playing Alistair Buttons. I am a Harangon, which is a rabbit folk.
Oh.
I'm a bunny person. And the thing that I would think seems odd would be my mannerisms and my speech don't seem to match my physical, youthful appearance.
Oh, interesting. How don't they match? What stands out? What seems off about them?
He definitely has a almost like a slowness. Like you would think someone of his age would he looks young, like maybe late teens, early 20s. So he looks like he'd be like spry and he'd be like bouncing off the walls and he'd be very like immature and
Energetic.
Energetic and stuff. But no, there's like a slowness to his movements when not in combat. In combat, he can handle himself, but when not in combat, there's a slowness and a resolve and almost like a maybe like a wistfulness. I'm not really sure how to put that, but yeah, he's constantly thinking about things.
Okay. So let's go from there and go to someone else so that we can get a quick description of everyone before we move on any further. Wyatt, you had your hand raised as well?
Yes. I am going to be playing a half-elf bard, this strapping lad here. Gordon Birkin, he is a very analytical kind of person. He's always trying to think of the hows, the whys, all the questions he can when it comes to any problem. Very headstrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to the point of detriment to others.
Okay.
He will get his man. Damn the consequences.
So what about you stands out visually?
He has a very upkempt beard, he's very into his appearance. He wants to look neat as possible all the time. He has a feeling he needs to look as professional as his job entails.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a lot of pride on his trimming.
So a very well-kept beard is what you meant?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you stop?
So he's very trimmed, very prim, very proper.
In looks, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Dalton, Jess, and Shannon, do y'all have an opinion on who wants to go next?
I did forget to say that I'm a monk, but yes, sorry.
I could go next if you want.
Sure.
I am Zalora Nimirai, and I am a siren, or we're playing it as a siren. I guess technically, I am a water genasi, but I am a siren. It's kind of,
Your actual in-game species is Siren.
Yes. So, she's very beautiful with blue hair, but she's very haunted eyes and like little flecks of silver over like her skin that when you look close enough, you can tell that they're scars, but from far away, they just look like beautiful, glowing, like her skin is dewy, but she's covered in head to toes in little tiny scars, and she appears very soft-spoken and wary of everything around her. I don't want to go too far into the backstory.
No, that's fine. I think that's plenty right there. I think that like minute scarification is definitely a distinctive detail about her.
Yeah.
Um,
But just from looking at her from a certain distance, she just looks beautiful and like she's glowing. But it just so
Sure.
happens that her scars, like when you up close, you realize they're scars. So
I imagine they look very differently to a surface race than they would to her.
right.
Shannon, I know you've been through kind of the shit lately, but did you have an idea of what your character, do you have something for this, or do you need more time to think about it?
I mean, like, I changed my character concept a little bit last minute, so I don't have a whole lot about her, but, like, I don't have a name. I'm
That's
brainstorming those right now, but basically, I am going to be playing probably a human, maybe a human or a half-elf, young female, probably around 25-ish, because I want her to have a little bit of experience. But basically, she was an artist that went to the Witchlight Carnival. Poor starving artist, apparently, according to Joe, because we had to sneak in. For inspiration.
Whether you had to or whether you just wanted to is entirely up to you.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but the character I'm playing is very soft-spoken, very kind, and she went to the Witchlight Carnival to get inspiration for her art because she was a painter. And the carnival took her ability to see colors.
Okay, we're getting into that detail next. For the time being, it's just like basic overview and descriptions. So, what is distinctive about your character's appearance, do you think?
She has white or silver eyes.
Like entirely? As if she were blind, or?
Not blind, but like she still has the pupils.
Okay. But her irises are.
But the irises are
white.
colorless, yeah.
Okay. Dalton, did you have an answer for this, or do you need some more time?
I do have an answer.
All right, go for it.
I'm playing Cedric Ignister, who is a winged tiefling.
Ooh.
He comes from a noble background, and his one defining characteristic, I would say, is this dual set of horns.
Okay. You mentioned he had wings as well, which is unusual for a tiefling. How long are his wings vestigial, or are they full size?
I don't know exactly, but there is an image if you'd like to pop that up.
Sure. Go ahead and shoot that over to me, and I will send that to the group. Or you can post it into the Discord channel, whichever you would prefer.
Yeah, I just tossed it onto the. Yeah, it's on. I just tossed it onto the map. You can blow it up.
Did you? Oh, I see it.
You can also share your screen if it's out, by the way.
Those are very much full size.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinating.
Here comes all the horny jokes. I'm sorry, Dalton.
Okay.
I'll have to change characters by next session.
Womp womp. Oh, Shannon's jumping into Roll20. Let me grab that token back from Mr. Cedric. So that Shannon can see him as well.
Aha!
Oh, wait a minute.
Look at that gentleman.
That's
Very dignified.
a scary man.
Okay, so now we have an idea of each character, something distinctive about them, generally who they are. So now we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back down the list in reverse order, and this is going to be out of character knowledge unless you've chosen to share it in character. And I am going to ask you what thing is that you lost, and how its absence has affected or cost you. So Dalton went last in character description, so he gets to go first in this question. Again, if you don't have an answer right now immediately, that's fine, because I did give you a detail that I'd forgotten to give you previously. But if you do have one, I would love to hear it.
I'll just read the little thing I wrote word for word. After sneaking into the carnival, he lost a pendant from the one who taught him to control his magic. As in response to him losing it, his teacher had died when he returned, and he wishes to find it again in order to have a physical memory of his long-lost teacher.
My heart! Okay!
Oh.
That's beautiful, Dalton!
So dark.
Is there also a chance that you could maybe bring the teacher back with the pendant if the life or soul was linked to the pendant?
I think that was just a metaphorical connection, but Dalton, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it was just... Yeah, it was just metaphorical.
Okay, I thought thought you losing the pendant caused her to die. That was my misunderstanding.
No. He said as if.
Oh, okay.
All right, fantastic. Dalton, do me a favor and in your character sheet, notate. Actually, no, I'm going to notate that.
I already have that written down in character backstory.
Fantastic. You're a peach.
Most of the stuff for my characters are written down in their sheets. Don't worry.
I love
That's
that.
why I like Roll20.
All right, so now we're going to go back down the list. Shannon, that's going to be you. What is it that your character lost, and how has it affected her?
My character lost her ability to see colors. And she was a painter originally who went to the circus to gain inspiration. And I'm not sure if it was, I mean, I guess this would probably be a story thing, whether it was immediate or if it was like a overtime gradual thing. But basically the first, I guess it's been like 8 years, I think you said, in between.
Some multiple of
Multiple
8
8, yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to stick to the 8 probably, and she spent a good bit of like the earlier part of the 8 years like really angry about it. And I was going to do a bard, but since there's already a bard, I'll probably just have bard as like a side thing. But she discovered music as her way to express herself after.
Well, it's important to note also that while bards do their magic through music, any class is capable of playing a musical instrument.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, we already have 2 sorcerers, so like you can double up on bard. There's no issue.
Oh my god.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
2 sorcerers.
All right, I believe that Jess went in the middle last time, so you remain in the middle this time. So what are we looking at with you, Jess?
Okay, so... let's see. I also have a description that I wrote.
Excuse me.
So... I'll just read my little thing. So she used to be a noble with great power, beauty, and talent, and no one could lure humans faster to death than her. As she visited the fair and returned the next day, she awoke, and her siren song had disappeared. Her people turned against her, tortured her, trying all kinds of horrid things to get it back. Finally, after the things failed, she was cast from the sea to live among the humans she used to prey on. Having to learn the way of the land walkers and forced away from the water on threat of death, she searches the land, desperate to survive and find a way to get her song back. She knows no bounds, and when it comes to what she will do to get it back. Having to depend on the land dwellers and living among them has changed her, and she now has a burning hatred for how her kind treated her, but still longs for home.
So functionally, in like to use an analogy here, she was almost subjected to like conversion therapy to try to put her to give her voice back.
Yeah, like she was experimented on and all kinds of things and whatever.
Some severe trauma.
Yeah. Her background is a haunted one, so basically, yeah.
Oh, you picked the haunted one background for her. Interesting.
Because she's haunted by all the things that she's seen and things that were done by her, and she's basically like a little bit fragmented, you know?
Okay, interesting. Let me ask you something, because you mentioned that when she visited the carnival, she was already renowned among her people. How old was she when she visited the carnival?
Well, she was renowned for her beauty and her song. She was probably like early 20s.
Okay. Interesting. So that would make her like at least late 20s, early 30s now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you're a full-grown person.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on next to Mr. Wyatt. Mr. Gordon. What?
So I snuck into the carnival with my friend when we were young because we were little shits. And as punishment, she lost her grandmother's locket, but I lost something a bit more precious. I ended up losing the ability to remember my parents' faces. I can perceive them just fine. I can talk to them for hours without anything being amiss, but the second I'm not looking at their face, I cannot possibly comprehend it. It is forever just gone the second I'm not looking.
And how has this loss affected Gordon?
He was convinced that Carnival had something to do with it, to the point of, like, kind of conspiracy theory-esque. But instead of just sitting in an armchair and wondering and screaming about the evil Carnival, he decided to do something about it. So he started working on getting sneakier and learning to find things out about people, learn to read people. Hence the fact he became a detective, mostly so he can get back in the Carnival and get that memory back, because he's certain that there's some way to do it. And the whole bard thing is the only thing he really has left of being able to remember, is playing with his father and mother with his with their little instruments, little family get together.
Gotcha. Okay, I love that, Wyatt. And now your search has brought you back to the Witchlight Carnival after, I presume, many long years of investigation.
Exactly.
Finally, we are on Alistair. Mr. Kyle, what has Alistair lost?
So Alistair used to be an old man, like a master of the martial arts and a master of his element, and he has lost all of his memories, and he's reverted to his youth. So that he's like, but he gets flashes of the previous life. But yeah, so he's a young whippersnapper now.
And how has that affected him?
The idea
Besides
that
the obvious.
yes, he has the knowledge that, like, he doesn't know what he's missing. Like, he just knows something's missing. And so, like, he has flashes of those memories. So, like, day to day, he's just the bunny he was when he was that age. But he gets the flashes of more and knowing more, and and so it's like, I think it's probably almost like an inferiority complex, because it's like he probably feels that he should be better than this, and he should, like, know better. And so if he makes a mistake or he does something wrong, he's like, I've done this, I feel like I've done this before, why am I fucking it up?
I love that. I really like that, Kyle.
Does he know that it was him, or does he think it was some sort of, like, reincarnation situation?
It's that, or I was almost thinking maybe there's, like, he thinks it was his master. Like, he thinks he himself was his, and so he has these memories of this master he trained with, but it was really just
Oh
him.
no, I love that. That's so cute.
That's fantastic. All right, so that is everyone's characters. That's what they've lost. So now I have a very important question that y'all need to answer, which is, for each of you, now that you've heard each other's descriptions, Jess is gone. I should probably wait for her before I go any further.
I know that in our house, I can hear from her TV and my TV when I walk around. Jess, can you still hear?
What? I'm right here. What's that?
JD was saying, do you want him to pause, or can you still hear?
No, I can hear.
She can still hear.
Fantastic. Well, my next question is, for each of you, how do you know at least two other characters? So I want there to be some pre-grown connections here, because the Witchlight Carnival is one where there is no such thing as coincidence. And your appearance here at this time together means something. So you are not strangers to each other, at least not all of you. So I'm going to start, actually, if you don't mind, with Jess this time, because you've been in the middle both times so far. And
Able to get a list of the names in the Discord chat?
Yes, I will do that right now. Thank you for asking, Dalton. I'm going to post that list. Can I see it? Yes.
Yeah. Names are hard to remember.
If anybody has a vote on my pictures, let me know.
What?
I'd say the top one, just because it fits more with the aesthetic styles of the ones that have been of the pictures that have been shown so far.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The last one's mad goofy. I like the second one because it's cute, but
I don't
Where
think
you
it.
have
I
your
don't think it
pictures.
fits. The second one for
Oh,
like how
just-
you've done
the
it
bunnies.
looks too young.
Well, no,
'Cause-
but he is young. He's been reverted.
Oh, I thought that was purely mental.
No,
No,
I'm
it's
in the
physical.
body. I'm in the body of like a 17-year-old again.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Shannon,
That's
can we have
actually
like a
why I thought the middle one would be the best age-wise, but
Shannon? Can I use Nemi or Sachi as a placeholder name for your character for the time being?
You can use what
Shannon.
No, I mean you can use Ica for now. I don't think I'm gonna end up going with that one, but that is one of them that I have an idea for.
Sure thing.
And I can actually.
Oh, I just used whatever you had on D&D Beyond. I can fix it to whatever you choose though. For the overlay.
Her stream overlay, she
Yeah.
means.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember what I wrote for. Oh, did I have Sachi for D&D Beyond? I think I did.
You had Nemi on D&D Beyond, which is why I said that. So I have the names over there on the Discord chat. So what I would like is to kind of spread this out as much as possible. So at least 2 other players, but you can name as many as you would like, for people that you have been in contact with.
Well,
And this doesn't... Sorry?
I was gonna say I think I'm gonna need a little help with this because she has been driven out of the sea, so she would have had help to learn how to live and to adapt and whatever. So
I mean, that goes with what I was going to propose to you if you were okay with it.
propose away.
So because my character is a noble, once you like were cast out of the sea, I was thinking maybe my house could have come and like gathered you and tried to help you like get situated with the world.
And I say
I like that.
We can do that. And I say because I was a noble in the sea, so I do have a bit of a bearing.
And maybe an expectation for what your standard of living should be. So I think this would probably work out pretty well for you. I do want to say also that there is at least an 8-year span of time between when you lost your thing and now. So you have that entire span to play in.
I think that coming out of the sea, like, her mind would have been very fragmented. And so if anything, do you perhaps live near the sea, do you think? Maybe I could have washed up or
I wouldn't say the House of Tieflings necessarily lives near water, but
well, maybe
I'd say Cedric Ignister specifically because he is quite different when compared to his family. He himself has a fondness towards the sea, so he would have found you one day and brought you back.
Okay.
Maybe he goes on boating trips and will buy some minor island.
Okay, so
I was thinking more of fishing on the coast, but that works
Or
too.
fishing on the coast.
Yeah.
pleasure. So would anyone else be able to be built into that? Because maybe we met the detective who was trying to find out more information about the carnival.
The
because
Witchlight Carnival.
Yes, because I'm trying to find any way possible whatsoever to get my voice back. So, or my siren song. So
I'd say that I know I wouldn't really know you from now, but you're only 20-something, you said, right? 30-something?
when this happened, I was 20 something. So, early 20s. So it would be later. I'd probably be 30.
Yeah, because it's whatever your current age is now minus 8 is when you lost it.
Well, remember, it's at least 8 years. It could be minus 16 or 24.
Or yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait.
So are
I
you
think I interrupted someone. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I thought that Wyatt was the detective.
Why is it?
Okay.
Well,
So would it be okay to say that I at least met you to try and find information?
so yeah, I think that'd be very easy for me to honestly fit in anybody's. You hired. That's the end of it.
Well, it helps here, too, because Cedric and Jalora... Is it Jalora or Zalora?
Zalora.
Zalora. Cedric and Zalora would be one of the few characters right now with the means to hire you.
Also, though, once I would hear it's
I guess
Witchlight,
just
I'd
Cedric.
probably take the case for free anyway.
Oh, there you go.
Because that's a win-win.
So so that's a great bit of bonding right there, and I want to build off of that. But I also want to definitely bring out Kyle right here, because I know that, Kyle, you were looking at the Witchlight hand background.
So I'm employed by the carnival.
You are. However, you also have the very convenient background of having about 60 years prior to your carnival visit to be wandering around.
Yeah.
So what I think would be interesting for Alistair would be if he knew people before he lost his age.
Yes. That's why I was asking how old Jess was, because I would imagine I could have met any of you as an old man, but it would be, you'd have to have been old enough for that to have lined up, kind of a thing. So if you're young, I don't think that could happen. But if you're, if you're in your 40s or whatever, what are everybody else's relative ages, approximately?
28.
28.
Oh, screwed himself over.
Probably also about that, TBH.
Well, here's the thing, though, is Alistair could have met any of them when they were children. Was he a wanderer? Was he, like, some kind of martial arts sage who traveled the world?
In his old age, yes, because I think he'd, like, retired from, like, the dojo life, and I think he went, like, the monastery kind of a thing, and I think he was, more of a wanderer. So that's true.
Perhaps, like, in Shannon's character's youth, her family went to a demonstration. Perhaps Zalora's family, hearing of your prowess as a martial artist, asked that you honor them with a visit. Or Cedric's family is nobility. Maybe they asked your services as a bodyguard when Cedric was young.
I was also going to say, depending on, are any of you martial classes? I don't think so, right?
I don't know yet. I haven't chosen a class.
Okay.
For all we know is you were like a renowned warrior, so one of my aunties was like, I will lure him to his death.
You might have fought one of Zalora's relatives.
Jeff, that's so good. If I was on a boat, if your family tried to murder me, no,
that would be wild.
My thought would have been if we had a martial class, maybe I was in town and I was training, and it would be like not like literally a karate class, but kind of a karate class. And but I can't imagine like a bard taking karate or a sorcerer taking karate or so.
Why not? Everyone needs to learn hand-to-hand combat.
Yes, yeah, I guess that's fair.
And maybe they took a class for you and hated it.
Yeah. with my -1 in strength, I'd assume no.
Well, maybe your parents made you and you hated it.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking for my second one, it could be Shannon or Ika.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because we could have been like in a show or performed together in a tavern or something like that.
Yeah. I was thinking that, or because tieflings have dark vision, I could have one trait, and my character is a shadow sorcerer. One trait I was thinking of my character is that he likes the dark a lot, so he wanted to get a painting. But because in dark vision you can only see in grays and versions of gray, he couldn't tell the fact that she had lost her sense of color. So he just thought her paintings were amazing no matter what. Because his rooms were always just lack of light.
He could be your patron.
Ooh.
That's really it. That's a really interesting connection, Dalton.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting, because that would maybe give her a reason to go back to art after being upset about the loss.
Yeah. And he could be your patron, maybe help to support you while you figure shit out.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought Wyatt was talking at the time. The little light glowed at the same time, and I got confused.
I just had a thought, and Katie, you can tell me if this is against the rules or if it wouldn't really work. What if I was already part of the carnival when people came there? So I could have been working the carnival and met them when they snuck into the carnival.
I guess then the question is, how long have you been with the carnival? Does Alistair continue to age now that he's reverted to his current state, or is he in stasis while this thing is lost?
I think I'm reliving it, so I think I am aging, but the question is, do I
Okay.
age lower in the carnival or in the Feywild than I would elsewhere?
So it's important to know that the carnival does exist in the material plane. It travels, but it does not go into the Feywild for long periods of time.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So then my other question to you is, and we may have discussed this, but I don't remember now, could I have been in more than one cycle and I don't know it?
In more than one cycle.
What I mean by that is like, okay. So let's say Jess's character was stolen from her 16 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have had to be with the carnival for 16 years, but I'm only 16. I'm like, say, 20 years old now. So I don't think I'd met her when I was 4 years old. So I would have. I'm implying that I could have been regressed more than once while working for the carnival, but I don't know that makes sense now that I say it out loud.
So
maybe regressing you is their way of keeping you out of the loop and out of the know.
So like they enslaved me to work at the carnival, so every 20, 30 years I
unfortunately, this is going to be one of my hopefully very few hard no's, but there are rules in the setting for why that could not happen.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It wasn't a set thing.
Now, what I will say is that maybe it wasn't your first trip to the carnival when you lost something. Mm-hmm. Maybe you had been to it previously, and maybe the time that you lost something, you had become old and arrogant or forgetful and just didn't buy a ticket.
Yeah.
So it's possible that in one of your earlier trips to the carnival, you had seen one of these people before. And if that is the case, what I am interested to hear is what your experience with that person was like, given that they were there surreptitiously. Would anyone be interested in jumping into that scene and having your time in the carnival be one where you met a kindly old Harengon man?
Actually, I think that would work for me as well, because that would give me a lead as to who to look into when I got there.
Okay. Love that.
So, I'm there legitimately. I paid for a ticket, like I'm there legit, but you have snuck in?
I believe I'm forgetting his name. DM name.
Joseph?
Yeah, I believe what Joseph said is that for the campaign setting, you would have to gone in without a ticket.
Well, no. What I said earlier was that Alistair could have gone in before he lost something. So, like, he'd visited the carnival multiple times, and when he lost something, he went in without a ticket.
Got it, okay.
But he went in before that. At the same time, a different member of the party went in without a ticket and lost something.
It could also make sense the opposite if you flipped it, which would be that I went in at some point as an old man, sneakily for some reason, to be determined. I reverted to like 16, and now in the present... And so, I don't know. No, I was just gonna say, like, then as I'm working there, one of you lost yours, but that would have. None of us have lost ours in the present. It would have been in the past, so never mind. It doesn't work that way.
Right. The losing happened minimum 8 years ago.
Maybe, yeah. I gotcha. Okay. So Wyatt, why would your character have been there, sneaking in, and then why would Mike? I guess we.
So the points to make here isn't so much the why.
Okay.
Alistair enjoys his diversions. He was maybe an older man. He lived a very serious life, perhaps, and he happened to run into a young boy or young man who seemed to be perhaps lost, and showed him around some of the attractions. This is simply a suggestion. Y'all do not have to go with this, but it is a possibility.
I kind of like the idea of I'm following an Alice in Wonderland thing going on here, but artists are typically very curious in nature, as an artist myself, and so I kind of like the idea that I had never seen a Terrangon before, and so Aika maybe followed him into the carnival.
Okay.
And that's kind of why she didn't pay for a ticket. I think she didn't even realize what was happening or where she was. But she was like, this is an interesting specimen. I want to sketch him. And then
that is fair.
Got in trouble.
Terrangons are originally from the Feywild, so
you wouldn't have seen many in the material world. No.
Yeah.
Even for like D&D, a lot of times like human characters don't have as much interaction with more like interesting races, so they're still like a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question: what was there an actual interaction there? And I do want the answer here to be yes. So let me actually change that to what was that interaction like between Alistair and very young Aika?
I would imagine it'd
like
be
17,
like,
Aika.
Yes, I'm picking up on like a yes and. I think that I buy the ticket, I get in, and I notice that you're following me around, like sketching in your book on your like sketch pad, and you're just following. And I'm just like, and I would turn around, and I am like a kindly old man, so I wouldn't like snap at you, but I'd be like, "May I help you, child?" Like that kind of a thing, and yeah.
Aika would immediately freeze up and go, "Oh God, I'm so sorry." Because she's very socially anxious. When she was younger, now she's a little more calm, but at that point she would have immediately apologized and asked if she could draw you.
Yeah, he would strike like a like he was a young man again, like a fighting like pose. I'd be like, I don't know how long I can hold this. I'm not as young as I used to be, but I'll try to be a good model.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have a sketch of you.
I would love, Shannon, for you to start in your inventory with a sketch of Alistair as an old man.
That! Yes! I'm so excited about this artist character. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do for fighting, but I'm so excited to be an artist. So
I know we have right now that Zalora and Cedric know Gordon, because in their investigation of the Witchlight Carnival led them to him. Gordon knows Alistair? Are we keeping that or no?
I think we can keep it if he's cool with it.
I had a slightly different idea for Gordon, and it would be more along the lines of the why I snuck in. And I know you didn't say you wanted the why, but I had an idea. And I think it would be, if I've been coming to the carnival over a period of time, as we saw, like I went there before, maybe the time I actually like snuck in, maybe I had hired you because I was unsure of something going on at the carnival. So I hired you, we snuck in together, but then that...
Well, let's make sure the timeline works out here.
Yeah. You realize I'm a teenager during this, right?
I would... Well, no. I was saying that... I'm going to become a teenager, but I see your point. You wouldn't be an investigator. Well, why did... Okay, that's a good point. You wouldn't be an investigator yet when this happened. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, because
that's the problem, is that the timeline needs to match up.
Which is hard, because I'm an old... I have to get into my head that, like, at the time this happened, I would be old and you would be young. And then when we go forward, I'm young and you're all older.
Yeah. There's a really interesting, like, backwards traveling we're doing here with Alistair's whole deal.
I'm 100% accidentally doing a river song right now, and I don't mean to be.
Oh, love interesting. It. I didn't even think about that. I do like the idea of you, like, kind of absent-mindedly following Gordon into the carnival. Maybe you like struck up a conversation with this interesting-looking young man and completely forgot to actually go through the ticket line yourself.
I think it would be a great idea if I had become like a Mr. Magoo in my old age. And he's like...
Just nobody can tell you nothing. I dig
just
that.
don't think about it anymore. Yeah.
I dig that. And it's not like, even in your old age, anyone could reasonably catch you. Until you slipped up.
Exactly.
So that would also give Gordon something to look into regarding Alistair, because you remember this old Harengon man when you lost the memory of your parents' faces.
Was this 8 years previous, or was this 16 years previous?
That is up to Alistair and Gordon.
Yeah.
It would have to be 16 for me for it to make sense with me sneaking in with my childhood friend. So
Okay, good, because I didn't want to make that connection with my character, but we would have accidentally with the rabbit following.
It's 8 years for Shannon's character and then 16 years for Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which means then that Shannon
that
would know Alistair as a young man.
That means I can't have snuck... that means I would have been young when I met... No.
So then I would say young. Like, you would be like 60 instead of 70 or something if you're an old man.
What I mean though is that if I was going to accidentally sneak in during Wyatt's, that wouldn't make sense.
Oh, that's right.
Because right now, Gordon loses his possession 8 years prior to Shannon's character losing hers.
So then I would say we reverse that. I'm aware of it, and I'm talking to him, and I buy my... Well, no, I wouldn't buy a ticket then. No. Shit. So then I'd have to meet Gordon inside. That's all. This wouldn't be when I would accidentally sneak in. Maybe her drawing me is what distracts me, and I accidentally walk in.
I like that. That works just as well, I think.
So yeah, so I meet Gordon on the inside, but what makes us talk to each other inside the carnival?
small town, never seen Harengon before. I just assumed you were part of.
Pretty easy.
We assumed you were part of the thing.
But the only problem with that is that means that me and you have kind of the same connection that me and Shannon's character have in that, Haringons are weird, let's talk.
Well, it's possible.
Stop being a weird race, then.
Assumed you were with them because Feywild magic rabbit. I would just assume you were with them.
I love
They're
it.
not even magic.
I like that.
And then panic because I realized, wait, we just snuck in and I'm talking to an employee and I booked it.
It's much like when you walk up to someone wearing a blue shirt at Walmart and you're like, "Hi," and they're like, "I don't work here." And you just
no.
It's like that, but you never got to the "I don't work here" part. It
I
just
turn around and I'm like, "I don't work here, young man," and then you're just gone. It's just like,
yeah, I'm already gone because by the time you brought up, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I just admit to a dude I snuck in. I got to bounce.
yeah.
So,
like,
Incredible.
yes, you think I work there?
hence why I'm coming after you because I think that you're the best thing I have.
Oh, actually, that might make sense too because I wonder if there's a scene there where I'm talking to one of the employees because I've been there so often, and that's why you think I work there because I'm a rabbit.
Yeah, I
and
could have walked up to a group of y'all and just
Yeah, that works. And then 8 years later,
Fantastic.
I walk in by accident. And
So
that
gives both Gordon... I'm sorry, what was that, Kyle?
I was going to joke that you thought I was an employee, and then 16 years later, I become an employee. So
That is
Yeah,
pretty
it's
fantastic.
a little bit of irony.
Nice, yeah.
So that's that.
I would like to also make another connection as well, maybe.
Oh God, please, I love that.
How old is Gordon when we start the show? When we start the game?
28.
Okay, so they are literally the same age. What kind of personality does Gordon have? Is he haughty? Is he to himself? Is he
Think Spike
serious?
Spiegel.
wait,
Okay. But also a bard, I think you had said?
Yes. He put so much time and energy because he couldn't remember his parents' faces that he just kind of... Everything went into the music to the point where he focused and, yeah, it bloomed.
I'd really like to have like a rivalry thing kind of going.
I think that would be great, especially for the Spike character, because it's just going to be like, okay, fine. Tries to show you up. What's up?
Yeah. Like, it's interesting because I'm playing it, her younger self would be like very like shy and kind of like self-conscious, but as an adult she's more like serious, like prideful a little bit because of the loss.
Yeah.
So she would have a very natural like rivalry thing going on with anyone who is like trying to outshine her.
And I kind of like that, because the juxtaposition of that versus just the I kind of don't care attitude would just be, it's a one-sided rivalry.
I love that.
Doesn't realize.
Yeah.
I would say I think that I would also know Shannon's character a little bit, just because I would be living with Dalton's character.
Does Dalton know Shannon?
Yeah, Dalton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Cedric specifically commissioned a painting from Shannon's character.
So we may not know each other well, but we do know each other.
Okay. I like that.
How old is Dalton's character? The tiefling?
28.
What?
28, like half of the rest of this party.
Oh, I mean, that's so funny.
In fairness, like, all of y'all being around the same age makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then me and Jess are the two older ones, although I'm not anymore. I'm young now. But
I wasn't saying that as like a bad thing. I was just saying that as like a joke.
Yeah. Jess, you're in your 40s now?
I probably, let's say it's been 16 years. If I was 20, then I'd be like 36.
Okay, so let me ask you then, Zalora, what is your impression of Shannon's character? Or actually, maybe I should ask that in the reverse. Shannon, what impression would you have given of yourself to this siren who is living in a nobleman's home that you have been commissioned, who has commissioned you?
I think it would, I want to say the commission would happen like 1 or 2 years into the loss. So she would have been like 18, 19, maybe still a little self-conscious, but like more sure of herself when she finally met, what was the name? Zalora?
Yeah.
Zalora. I think she would immediately want to draw Zalora first off, because holy shit, beautiful, like, mer person, essentially.
And I say, I think Zalora is kind of like I said, she's not quite all the way there. Like, she looks very haunted and, like, ethereal almost. And, like, she has bouts where she looks, like, radiant and happy and then, like, crying the next. Like, she's very, like she's different people almost.
I want to, like, not build too many connections because I don't want to be like, I know everybody. Yeah. But at the same time, I like the idea
There's
of
nothing wrong with everyone knowing everyone else.
That she would have
I'm just saying
anyone specifically close to her, but like you could have seen me, you know, because
I think Aiko would have thought of her as like a big sister character almost, and maybe started becoming more sure of herself and like confident by looking at how like standoffish Zalora was and kind of emulating that a little bit.
What I would say on that, and I know this I'm not your character, but the way Jess said that she had like multiple things going on, maybe like I don't know if you're like just like a realism artist, but maybe like in the way you capture her, you capture that otherness about her, like the like not literally a Picasso, but just like you don't draw maybe. If she has this, like, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing going on, you don't draw the Dr. Jekyll, you draw the Mr. Hyde.
That'd be interesting, yeah. I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
I had a thing about Jess, though. Jess, you mentioned it earlier, I think, if I knew you when you were evil, which could make sense because if I'm like 60, 70 years old, I 100% would have had adventures, and I would have fought bad guys, and I would have, you know, had an adventuring party and done shit. So
what I would like to do, so interrupt you really quickly, Kyle, is to not characterize Zalora's background as evil.
She said she literally murdered people.
100% there is murder, but we're in a world of adventurers where lots of people murder lots of people.
Okay, you're right.
So,
Sorry.
like, that act, it's very possible that some of Zalora's family is indiscriminate in their killings. Perhaps some of them only target pirates or target capitalist marines.
Like I said, her people believe like that's their job, like that humans are the evil ones. Like they're heroic in their own way for doing this. But it's like when she was thrown onto the land, like her people did horrible things to her to get her to be like them again. And then when she couldn't, they threw her to the land to like the evil being. So she's kind of had to learn to be among the evil beings and kind of see things both ways. So if
that would be that's my point
perchance
too.
if people thought her evil before, she's not necessarily evil now. Like I said, they think every evil person thinks of themselves as a hero. You know what I mean?
But that would be my point, is from my point of view, as someone who's like who's on a boat, who's gonna go fight sirens, like I would think that you're an evil plague. You know what I mean? Like
you would maybe have like brief memories of fighting sirens. I like that.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that, Jess?
Sure. I mean, when he met me, I probably would have been very young.
Yeah.
Right. So odds are, Jess, what happened is that you heard stories about a Harengon, like, mercenary who was fighting against your aunts and uncles. But I like that. I think there's some drama to be mined there. So I want to go ahead and move on from this because y'all have delved into that way harder than I thought that y'all were going to, and I'm delighted that y'all did that.
I do have one thing to say real quick before we move
go
on.
right ahead.
When you had been saying that Zalora and Gordon would know each other due to the hiring, one thing I was wanting to specify is that Cedric, for when researching this, would have done most of that on his own because he's trying to. His thing about himself is independency.
Okay.
So he would not have met Gordon.
Oh,
so maybe
okay.
it's more Zalora because she needed answers and she would try anything.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Whereas Cedric still has a lot of that like aristocratic pride.
Yes.
Am I okay? I love that. So I want to ask a question that I don't want an answer for right now, but I would like y'all to DM me between this session and the next session, which is what does your opening scene in this game look like? I want to do if you've ever watched Dimension 20, the DM in that show tends to do like a brief 15-20 minute scene with each player before they all meet up. So what I want to do something similar where I have a scene with each of y'all individually right before you meet up at the Witchlight Carnival's entrance, so that we establish a few things about your character, you get into the mindset of them before you all interact, and we have a bit of a moment to like really dive into the world. So between now and the next session, start thinking about what that opening scene looks like. Whether it involves other character and to what extent, whether it is just you on your own, whether you want to have a significant NPC make an appearance, someone to whom you are connected outside of the other players. And let me know. We can absolutely get to working on that and get something in mind for next session.
Okay. Just to be clear, I think sometimes Zalora is going to be a little speciest because she has to unlearn everything she's learned. Is anyone going to have a problem with that?
Oh, no.
Okay.
That is actually, Jess, a fantastic segue into the next section I was going to go into, which is discussion of material and limits within the game. So this game as a whole this story as a whole is relatively tame, but there are a couple of things that might cause discomfort among players. Specifically, I have a couple of notes here. Mentioned in this adventure in a couple of places is psychological and neglectful child abuse. Mentioned a great deal in the game is the loss of a loved one and the mourning thereof, and the tragic circumstances of their death. And what you're going to deal with a lot in this game is morals and ethics that are completely alien and don't align with yours at all. People that just don't think the same way that any mortal human would think. That's what I could think of initially as kind of flags in this story that might come up as uncomfortable for some people. If any of those ring any bells or raise any flags, or if you can think of other topics or subject matters that might cause you discomfort in the game, please at any point feel free to either bring it up in game or DM me privately if you don't want to make it a thing publicly, and I will accommodate you to the best of my ability. In general, I, as a DM, don't like portraying certain things. If anything at any point becomes sexual, we're just going to fade to black. I'm not going to roleplay through any of that with y'all.
Thank you.
I don't like portraying torture amongst players and NPCs, so I will avoid doing that to you, and I ask that you avoid doing that to NPCs.
And flashbacks are probably not a good thing for my character then.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because I feel like that's something, not maybe else entirely, but we might be able to do that in a way that is comfortable for both of us.
Okay.
But in general, I didn't have any other major flags that came up over the course of reading this adventure. If anything comes up for you at any and all point, let me know. But the next question I have in regards to the material of the game is, with your knowledge of this adventure, given that you will be traversing the Feywild, that you'll be starting in a carnival, and that you will be looking for these things that you have lost with the potential of regaining them, let me ask you as players, is there anything in particular that you would like to see or do during this game? And this can be anything like, I want to talk to Fey nobility, or I want to go shopping in the Feywilds. I want to have a lot of flashbacks with my character and explore their backstory, are some examples I just thought of. But if there is something that you want to do in particular, now is the time to let me know.
Okay. As far as my character goes, she's like I said, she's very standoffish. I think it's because of everything she went through, and also she was kind of ingrained with like anti like ocean people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like her to maybe like make real connections, friendships, to grow kind of out of that speciesism, and possibly find someone like that really grounds her, maybe like a love connection or something that could like turn her over the edge from being like evil, neutral evil, to truly good, maybe like to accept humanity, and or you know, whatever.
Sure. Someone to help Zalora confront her biases and work through them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Here's a question. Would you like that to be from a potential love interest, or just from like someone who she connects with on a personal or emotional level otherwise?
I kind of like the love interest angle, but I think that it's gonna have to be developed over time, because she's so like, don't touch me, don't whatever, you know. Almost
Sure.
She's traumatized, basically.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to work up to her when she finds her song to not want to use it.
Aww.
Ooh,
Even
I
though
love
that's
that.
what everything she's striving for, I'd want her to, you know,
be able to turn aside from that past.
Joe's
I
really
love
good at
that.
adding love interests that you don't expect. Like, he'll put a fucking NPC in the first goddamn session of the game, and then you'll end up with them 20 sessions later. Clark.
Aww. I liked Clark. For some backstory, I ran a Pathfinder game with Shannon that went for about 2 or 3 years. So there may be a bit of reference to that, and if it gets too much, just let me know.
Yeah. And if at any point you want to throw, you know, my family or merfolk who see me and, treat me disgusting or want to kill me or anything like that, you can. But that's just an aside if you need some good juicy drama.
I'm a fan of more merfolk.
I think I have I'm disgusted by my own people, but I also long for my home in the way things used to be, Like, they can never really be that way again, but somehow I feel like if everything was perfect again, I could have all the things. Like, it never happened,
Sure. I like that. I like that a great deal. So that's something from Jess. Does anyone else have any particular subject matter they would like to deal with or would like to experience within the game?
Want a Hot Springs episode in the Feywild.
Hell yeah.
I have simple needs.
Be like Nadpod, the prince's cave.
I would like as many riddles and puzzles as possible.
No.
Add them in, add more of them, and
Oh no!
I know other people don't like that. What?
I said fantastic.
No.
I am going to add in a riddle me piss gnome.
No.
God.
Yes, please.
I would like a apothecary witch magic shop.
Cool.
I mean, Shannon.
I have to ask for
I'm-
this.
You know I'm gonna have Tephedra in here somewhere.
I just needed to know.
This was just a general, question, but also kind of a request. Since you said this one is more story-based, would it be possible to have less, how do I word this? Less, out of context stuff? We wouldn't, midway through the session refer to bardic plays in the middle of,
I
Yeah.
can't do it. I'll try, but I don't think I physically can.
because this one seems a lot more ingrained into the story, so breaking out of it a lot would kind of break the immersion.
Okay, that
No,
seems
no.
more of a request for the other players than for me as a DM. But I will make an effort to keep things grounded and in context.
I would say in answer to that, because the Bardic Plays was a direct Kyle reference.
Oof.
I have trouble censoring myself in real life, but two,
Yep.
I'm here to have fun, and I don't know how. I get that you're here to have fun too, so I think there's definitely got to be a balance between them, and I don't want to feel necessarily stifled, but also I don't want you to feel like I'm forcing you into my joke corner. So
let's do this. Let's kind of feel out how the first session or two go. And let's work from there on whether we are at a point that is comfortable or whether Kyle and I need to have a little discussion outside to figure out how we work that in.
Yeah.
Because for things like that, maybe there's a way that Alistair's memories surface in a way that lets Kyle get that joke energy out.
Yeah, because jokes are fine. It was just because it is more story based. Me personally, I was jokes could still obviously be in. I'm never gonna say don't do that, but it was just just a little bit lightened.
Maybe we have a more clear distinction between in character and out of character.
Yeah, that I think that's more of the thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's very hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah.
And not specifically towards you, Kyle, just in general. I've had difficulty telling what's in character, what's out of character with characters.
I guess I was also looking at it because it's fictional and it's another universe, you could literally have a group of Gripplies put on a ninja play and be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Gripplies. Yes, that would obviously be from our world, but it's a parallel world and that could happen. It physically
I feel like that kind of thing also happens a lot more when Kyle is DMing.
Yes,
Whereas you'll probably see that less from me as a DM.
Yes.
Speaking of role playing and stuff, can you make sure that each of us has a character sheet that we control, even if it's just blank, so that we can type stuff in character?
Yes. So I haven't
So we
done
can
that yet
continue-
because I hadn't gotten character names from everyone yet.
Yeah.
But before the next session, I will have all of that set up.
So that way we
Yeah,
can
I got one because I do roll 20.
Only you have one, sir.
So far, he was the only one to actually request one specifically, but
I know,
I
that
will
wasn't
have
on
that.
you. That was just, he's a special boy.
Yeah.
I mean, Dalton's my favorite, so
How dare you?
I will make sure that I have everyone set up before the next session. If y'all want to shoot me images to use for tokens, I will be happy to set those up as well.
Oh, I thought we'd already done that. Did we not? I know I'd put mine in chat.
I think a few people
okay,
have.
Yes.
Or a picture yet, so I definitely haven't.
Okay, yes, no, you're absolutely right. Zalora does have. In fact, you already made a full token for me,
I
so.
did. I was a good student.
You certainly were.
I
She
should make
understood the
a
assignment.
token.
What was that, Shannon?
She understood the assignment.
That's right.
She did. She did.
Yeah.
Jess usually does.
On the topic of... Oh, sorry.
No, go right ahead, Kyle.
On the topic of things like that we want or don't want, I would imagine that if I've lived for 60 plus years, like if I'm 10 years into this cycle and I lived for 60 years, 70 years before, so I'm like, I've done 80 years in total, I'd imagine I could run into... The thing is, that would be on the material plane, though. We're going to be mostly... Never mind. Ignore
That's
me.
largely the thing, is that you'll be in unfamiliar ground.
Yeah, so it's not like I'll be running into people who would know me and I wouldn't know them. Yeah. Okay.
So
Right.
is this place, does it show up the same spot every year, or do we kind of have to search around for it? Because I was kind of thinking that was the place where, like, I didn't know where it was again, so I couldn't go back.
So, the book leaves this intentionally a little bit vague, though I think the Witchlight Carnival does move around.
Okay.
I think it stays largely within the same, like, vague geographic area. So, like, it would be on the Sword Coast, but you don't know where on the Sword Coast.
Okay.
And if it only appears in this location once every 8 years, you have a pretty small window to find it.
Okay.
How long is it grounded? Like, how long is it here?
It stays grounded for a single night, and then it travels elsewhere on the material plane.
Okay.
I say a single night, a single day. I believe it stays for an 8 or 10 hour period at a time.
And does it only go to the material plane, or does it go to the celestial plane, infernal, like other planes?
That, I think, Kyle, is something that you and I can discuss.
Okay.
Because I don't think that is specified. I want to say it stays in the material plane. But that is an interesting question, and I really like it.
Yeah, because I would say one thing about like carnivals, especially like with our other D&D game with Brady, is it has a path, and you don't necessarily have to like go to the path at the same exact time, but there will be like 5 points that it could be at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that gains a little bit more of like the detective aspect of where did the carnival end up this time,
Right.
where it's still a pattern, but it's not. It's still random.
I almost feel, because I don't often come onto land, that I might have just been attracted to, like, lights and stumbled upon it, not knowing that it was something, like, paying for stuff and being, like, you know.
Sure.
During the 7 years in between, 8 years in between each, does it go to other places on the material plane for those 8 years?
So I think this is a bit more that you and I can discuss privately, because you're the only one for whom it really matters.
Stuff? Yeah.
But my idea of it is that in the 8-year interim, it travels across like different versions of the material plane and different timelines.
Oh, that's
I
really
don't
cool.
I don't think it's temporally bound the same way that the rest of the material world is.
That was going to be what I was going to say. Either timelines or dimensions or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's what we're looking at right here.
Cool.
That honestly is pretty much all I have for this session 0. So at this point, I'm going to open up the floor to y'all if y'all have any questions for me as a DM. And after that, we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Back to the things in the game, because I didn't actually get to say it. I was more like for the
I'm
general
so
thing.
sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. That was my fault. Because I'm a noble, like having like the noblemen like elaborated on, like at one point.
So do you want like more exploration into your family specifically, or do you want interaction with other nobility?
Other nobility, because in search of the carnival, we could run into other houses or something.
Well, I'm gonna say the campaign starts with y'all at the carnival.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I will say that I already have at least 2 possibilities in mind for interactions that Cedric can have in the Feywild with nobility.
Got it.
And I think that you'll like it.
We may have touched on this. I forget in a DM or not, JD. The idea of me maybe meeting other Harangon and like, you know, ancestry wise, like, oh, you're my great grandfather kind of a. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay.
Yep, there's at least one group, and I may add more of Harangon that they're sure to encounter in the Feywild.
Cool.
I'm not sure if I want this when I have color back or when I don't, but I want to, at some point, meet a group of fairies.
I mean,
I think we'll be fairies every session.
that's a really easy request to honor.
I mean, like not trying to murder us fairies, I guess. Like,
So that's actually one thing that I do want to touch on again. And I mentioned this briefly a couple of times before, but I want to make sure that it's impressed upon y'all. This book is advertised as never requiring combat. You can make through the entire adventure without ever fighting anyone.
It's gonna make my first
I
time
cannot-
playing a sorcerer pretty easy.
I literally cannot imagine an actual D&D party, anyone that I've ever played with, going through this adventure and not getting into a few combats. Because there are a few circumstances that actually do seem to suggest it pretty heavily. But there will also be a lot of opportunities to utilize diplomacy or bribery or deception or however else to get out of situations.
I'm just used to the Feywild being like a place that you go and things try and murder you.
I just realized, I don't know if you guys probably did this on purpose. I completely like forgot about the like heavy RP angle thing, and like, so my charisma is a -1.
Hold on.
And
I'm gonna have so much fun with that.
I look at you guys, and we have 2 sorcerers, a bard. Like, you guys are high charisma.
Well, you know, I wouldn't say we all have high charisma.
I mean, you should as a sorcerer.
Regardless, I'm gonna say back to my point earlier about like trusting me to help support you as a character. Low charisma makes for just as much fun as high charisma,
Lord.
if not more.
So you did mention earlier, you'd get back to the to rolling stats or point by.
Yes, so let's get into some of the nitty-gritty. Thank you, Dalton. So regarding character creation, I think some of y'all have already gotten like a pretty fair way into it. But if you're still looking at like really getting the crunch and the numbers on, I tend to prefer point buy as a stat allocation because it's so even. And it keeps y'all within a certain level of bounded accuracy, so no one gets too crazy. But, question to y'all as a party, how do y'all feel about rolled stats? And when I say rolled, I mean roll 4d6 and drop the lowest 6 times, and place those wherever you want.
I've never rolled. I kind of prefer point buy, to be honest. But
Okay.
or
I would say
standard array. You know.
Yeah, I would say people can do what they want. I prefer either standard array or point by myself.
Yeah.
Wyatt and Shannon, what are your opinions?
You go first.
I mean, I don't really have a huge opinion as to which one. I think I generally prefer rolling just because I don't like the math involved with point buy.
So I will say D&D Beyond helps a lot with that.
Yeah.
I can also send you a website that literally can do it all for you.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
If D&D Beyond is not being nice.
But I tend to go with whatever the DM or the party chooses. I've done both. I don't mind either.
And I find it's a way to keep it easy. I feel like sometimes when you roll, like, you have chances of being really low, which can be fun, or really high, and then it almost feels like, you know, you're good at everything and you kind of outclass everyone. Whereas point by or standard array, like, you have to be within certain parameters. So it's kind of, everyone's kind of on an even playing field, so to speak.
Wyatt, do you have a strong feeling one way or the other?
I don't really have a strong feeling, although I can tell you I do prefer rolling if I get to choose. Simply because I find the idea of having a 6 and a stat and getting to pick what I'm going to be detrimental in and have that play in is kind of fun.
Okay.
I like being crippled in some aspects because it makes me think around things rather than
Yeah.
try to
Sure.
bulldoze to it.
I also liked rolling stats, but that's because I have a rule that I always impose on myself, even if the DM doesn't. To where, if there's like group things, unless the DM says specifically roll this, I will only roll something I am proficient in.
Okay.
So even if I have like, let's say somehow I roll all 18s, I won't be doing every single stat check in the game.
So, that having been said, I think I'm going to rule here that we're going to use point buy. But I as a DM am very fond of unusual rewards for players. So I will say there is a possibility for stat increases outside of every 4th level.
Okay.
Which I think might help alleviate that a little bit. And also, if you want to have a crazy low stat, you don't have to use all the points.
Well, the lowest you can get is an 8, even without using all the points.
Oh, you can't degree scores below 8
Nope.
in...
You could give yourself a manual modifier, but...
I'm gonna say, if you want to have, like, a really low score in one stat, come talk to me. Let's discuss. Let's speech of the words.
The -4 strength +5 bard.
Good God.
I'm gonna say you're a sickly child. Your constitution is like... That's sad.
But you have the voice of an angel, like a children's choir.
I have the spindliest wizard wrists you've ever seen.
I would actually like to play a -5 strength barbarian. He's really bad at his job, and...
Oh, God.
-5 strength, you just die. Like, cause I think any -5 in any of the stats just like...
So no, you can have a 1, which is a -5.
Yes.
But if any of your scores are 0, you are at least immobile in some way. Whether you are flat out dead or just a vegetable.
Ugh.
Is a 1 a -5?
A 1 is a -5 because it's every odd number going. It's
right.
every even number going up, but every odd number going down.
I thought a 0 was a -5 and a 1 was a...
So much like a 10 and 11 are both a 0 and a 1 are both a -5.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, I'm tired.
So
It's fine. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense until you think about it really hard.
Yeah, I want to do a 1 strength of 1 for.
You're up. Okay. You know what? I just said you were allowed to do that. Let's not go below a 5.
That should be a new campaign in the future where it's like we all make bad characters on purpose. Let's do it.
Hey, I mean, honestly, a party full of deeply incompetent adventurers sounds like a ton of fun.
Exactly.
At that point, the miserable rolls will be hilarious, not
That's part of it. Yeah.
When everyone rolls bad, no one does.
With my current scores, the only way I'll hit this guy is with a nat 20.
Oh no.
Nat 1, your hand breaks.
Wisdom save.
What I am going to say also is that in general regarding character options, pretty much everything in D&D Beyond is on the table. There shouldn't be anything in there that I'm, like, opposed to. So I'm pretty sure in that regard you can more or less go wild, Dalton, since you're using Roll20. Pretty much all the character options within the Player's Handbook, Xanathar's, and Tasha's are on the table.
Yeah, I just went for some pretty standard stuff, so don't worry.
Okay. Well, this includes also, if y'all are playing classes that involve them, the alternate class features in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Nice.
So those are available if you are interested in using them. This is important if anyone wants to be a ranger, especially. I love rangers, but just in case.
Revised Ranger is so much better.
The Revised Ranger is so much better. Tasha's options made it just so much more impressive. But yeah, I think I do want to say that I didn't hear anything from Wyatt in my question regarding what you want to see from this game. Is that just because you didn't have anything in mind, or were you spoken over?
Honestly, I can't really think of anything. I'm just kind of along for the ride, so if something happens that you think, ooh, that could be a plot hook, toss it in there. Let's make some gumbo.
I love that. I love that. If things come in later that you want me to be aware of, feel free to DM me at any time.
I just had an idea.
Yeah, what is that?
Could I have, because I've lived a life and I was an adventurer or whatever, could I have a nemesis of some sort, and could the nemesis have gotten to the Feywild as well? So I
don't know if you watched my facial journey during that, Kyle.
No.
But, like, when you were on the can I have, I was like, Kyle, don't ask me for a free feat. And then you said nemesis?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh!
So I would like an old man or woman who knows me, but I don't know them, and we've fought for years, and like, so they're like still a master in what they do, but now I'm a novice, and they hate me, and I don't know who they are.
Kyle, thank you.
Joseph, an early Christmas present.
This delights me on such... Shannon understands what a deep and personal level on which this delights me.
Also secretly my love interest? No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh, no, I love enemies to lovers to enemies to lovers to enemies.
How deep do you want the little intro thing?
Just give me, like, a general prompt and who you want involved in it. Because this shouldn't be anything more like a 15-20 minute scene, because I'll be doing one for each of you, so we don't want it to be the entire first session.
So,
got it.
What kind of things are you looking for in it? Like
so the idea here is... The idea here is something that would give a good impression of your character and their general demeanor. So,
is this gonna be like on our way to the
to the carnival? Yes.
Okay.
So this is like your character setting up and setting off, and they feel something important is about to happen, and they are taking a step on a journey taking a step towards a goal that has been like in the back of their mind for nearly a decade for some of you, and over a decade for others.
Wait, would that mean Jess and I would have scenes that end up together?
It's very possible if you want that.
Or maybe you have the same goal, but you're coming from different... Or do you live together right now?
Yeah, that's the reason I brought that up. At least from my understanding of what we had agreed on.
If Zalora still lives in Cedric's the Ignister estate, then absolutely yes. Y'all could have a scene either jointly or separately.
I think that would be the question, is obviously you live together at one point, but like, are you living together at present?
That's kind of why I was kind of trying to message you, Dalton, because I wasn't sure where we
I did respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be discussed between now and the next session.
Okay.
Speaking of, I do want to say this. I do not plan for this to be an every week game. I plan for this to be every other Tuesday, roundabouts. We're about to go into the holidays, so things are going to get real wacky for a lot of people. So, schedule's going to be a lot harder to work with, but with my responsibilities, I don't think that I can DM a weekly game. So what I would like to do is get a certain degree of commitment from all of y'all, given the importance of story and roleplay in this game, and the fact that it is very much not a pick up and play. I would like to make sure that everyone can be there for every session. So what I want to do is at the end of every session, including right now, we look at the calendar and say, okay, so 2 Tuesdays from now is this date. Can everyone make it then? And that we do that every single time.
Next question.
Yeah.
This is Kyle being greedy.
Kyle, if you're trying to force him into doing it every week, he just
No.
Let Kyle finish.
Yes.
Is he going to offer to DM every other Tuesday?
That would be option one. So option
Oh,
one
God.
is that. Option two is I've had other ones where like we do like maybe like if people aren't free on that opposite Tuesday, then there's no worries. We're all just have free time. But if people were interested, maybe we like play board games, or we do like a one shot, or like, you know what I mean? Like we could do something, and that way then if people wanted to get together on that Tuesday, it's a more relaxed thing than like, but we don't have to. It was just yeah.
I think that's definitely a possibility. I don't think that I would necessarily be up for organizing such a thing.
Yeah.
But I think that is something we could definitely look at.
Okay.
But for the time being, that is November the 9th at present.
Yeah.
So it'd be the 23rd.
Which is 2 days before Thanksgiving, which might be difficult for some people.
Since this was a session 0, would it be possible to do it next week, and then from there do every other week?
Yeah, 'cause this was supposed to be like the second or whatever before that, but it all depends on, yeah.
I am okay with pulling our first session on the 16th, so long as everyone can get their stuff into me before then.
Yeah.
I've given y'all a bit of homework with this session
Yeah.
0.
One thing I will have to say, to start off, though I will do my best to get here, I am not, I do not have my own transport, so if I am in a location that does not have internet, I do not have a way to get here.
Sure, and like, if life happens, then life happens. I can't ask y'all to put this before every other obligation or circumstance you may have. But as long as I know that you are doing your utmost, that's all I can ask of you.
Got it.
So in that regard, does everyone in the group think that they can have all of their homework done, character creation, first scene prompts, so on and so forth, into me by no later than this Saturday?
Sure.
The 13th. Yeah.
I can definitely do that. I already have my scene, like, in mind.
Perfect.
You have to talk to Jess if it's with her.
Well, that would just be the end.
If I
Yeah,
can
if
get
they were
that
together.
commitment from people, then we can do our session 1 on the 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
Wyatt,
if people do their homework, we'll have to schedule it different, but I think that it's definitely doable.
I haven't heard a yes from Wyatt and Shannon yet.
Oh, I had 2 thumbs up. I quit
okay,
my
cool.
job. I quit my job today, so half of my mental processes are back.
Is that
I
good?
love that.
I was about to ask if that was good, but then you said half my... Yep.
I got a job offer
that's
last night,
Nice.
so
good. Ooh,
A
nice.
job offer that cuts her commute by a third.
Nice.
So
By-
Oh my god.
an hour and a half most days.
That's amazing.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt?
So yeah, I think all I really need to do is just send you the link to the character and the intro prompt thing.
Yep, so I need characters built, I need illustrations to use as tokens, but I think you've already given me that, Wyatt. And I need first scene prompts. Everything else besides that is already ready to go. So with that in mind, it's about 9:10. I wanted this to last just about 2 hours, so we're still on time. I love that. Thank you all so much for making the time to be here and being present and being helpful and as invested as I could ask any of y'all to be. I am really excited for this game.
Yay!
Just one more question. Are we looking at like a 7 to 10 Eastern? Usually?
So
It has
as
to be at least 7 for me.
for at least this week when Shannon still has her 90-minute commute to work with.
Next week, yeah.
Yes, we're looking at 7 to 10 Eastern. Is that a problem for anyone?
No.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I'm a
So-
baby,
so yeah.
and I might fall asleep, but I'll be here.
So just the 3 hours?
Just the 3 hours, that is correct.
Okay.
We may look at revisiting that once Shannon's commute shrinks down. But let's assume the 7 to 10 on a go forward basis.
Okay.
Which also means that I will ask all of y'all to like be present and committed and take initiative in moving the story forward. Let's make those 3 hours count, kids.
Yeah. And try to make
Alright.
it actually 7 and not 7:30.
But what if I want to get here at
All
7:01?
of mine in mind.
Or you could be a good girl and boy and come 45 minutes to an hour early so you can set up stream.
All
Hey,
right.
you could play in the car.
You should not play in the car, Shannon.
Aw, JD, you've done it. Come on.
I haven't. It was a mistake.
On
I've done
Atlanta
it multiple times
traffic.
and no one yelled at me.
Well, you're just gonna be sitting there.
Considering
better
I'm not the one who drives, doing it in the car is not that hard for me.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, that's
valid.
fair.
But yeah, I think we are set and good to go and done.
Awesome.
Thank you all for coming here. I will see all of you on Tuesday the 16th, unless something goes awry.
Or Friday.
And I can't wait to get you all into Feywild.
Yay.
Have a good night, folks. I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome.
Nice meeting all of you all. I'm very
Nice talking
excited
to
with our
you.
characters.